What does it mean to belong? Is to carry the weight of history, the imprint of place. This video essay embarks on a visual journey, exploring these questions through the fascinating works of Edgar Incassoni-Baré, Joana Vasconcelos, and Du Rossu, artists who in their unique ways express these ideas of home, roots, and heritage. Alongside the explorations, I will also analyze my artistic responses and how my personal connection to these themes takes shape visually. Firstly, I will explore the intriguing work of Edgar, focusing on his animation Lepidoptera, a hand-printed video animation that depicts the butterfly's life cycle. This piece incorporates footage of the artist's childhood, addressing themes of ecological and climate crisis in UK, while drawing parallels between personal trauma and the extinction of butterflies in UK. What stood out to me most about this piece was not only its visual beauty, but the incredibly inventive way Hart brings it to life. Even from this brief glimpse, it's clear that this is far from a typical stop motion animation. What makes this animation so unique is Carl's deep engagement with historical and alternative photographic processes, all centered around the theme of butterflies and moths. The work goes beyond a single technique, blending a range of natural elements collected in North York, such as homemade charcoal from oak woodland, leaves and bark, iron-rich soil collected from disused mining site, rainwater collected and poured onto frames, and vibrant pigments made from weeds. In doing so, he has pioneered innovative approaches to stop-motion animation, marking a significant breakthrough in the field. Take the cyanotype. You can see its characteristic blue here. Kai uses this process to capture the delicate forms and intricate ink patterns of butterflies and moths. The inherent beauty of the cyanotype, with its almost ethereal quality, really complements the fragility of these creatures. It gives the animation a sense of history, a connection to early scientific illustration, almost like we are looking at botanical studies come to life. But then it layers in other techniques. Here you can see elements created through ecocyano. This process involves using the pigments naturally presented in plants to influence the cyanotype development. The result is these wonderfully subtle variations in tone and even hints of other colors. And it doesn't stop there. Look at these areas. You can see the influence of cyanolumen. This is a process where objects are placed on cyanotype paper and exposed to light without the negative. Carr seems to be using a combination of wet cyanotype printing and other substance, like soap, to capture the essence or shadow of the natural materials he incorporates. What I found particularly innovative was his incorporation of anthocyanin processes. Anthocyanins are the pigment found in many flowers and fruits, and Carr has found ways to use their light-sensitive properties to create imagery. You can see this fleeting, often more vibrant color appearing in certain moments. Because anthocyanin pigments are less stable than cyanotype, it adds this layer of transience to the animation. Perhaps the most unique aspect of Carr's practice is his development of cyanostyle, a process he appears to have invented. It combines the natural chemical properties of soil with cyanotype techniques to produce imagery. The resulting textures and tones are truly singular, earthy, raw, and almost primordial. It feels as though the ground itself becomes an integral part of the narrative. I also want to briefly reflect the way text is often used in combining with these forms of artistic presentations. The words chosen are typically explicit and carry a clear meaning. This approach aims for immediate impact and easy comprehension. In a visual context, short, punchy text can integrate smoothly without overwhelming the animation. It grabs attention quickly and focuses the viewer's mind on the key message. The bold capitalization further emphasizes the importance of these words, lending them a sense of authority or significance. This directness can be particularly effective when the goal is to raise awareness and convey a warning clearly. What's so compelling about Carr's approach is how he doesn't treat these processes as separate entities. He blends them, layers them, and allows them to interact in ways that feel incredibly intuitive and organic. The result isn't just a visual stunning animation. It's a rich tapestry of textures, colors, and historical references, all connected to celebrate the beauty and fragility of Lepidoptera.
For me, this work raises fascinating questions about the relationship between art, science, nature, and his hometown. Carl isn't just animating butterflies. He's using the very materials and processes that connect them to the environment and to the history of our understanding of the natural world. It feels deeply thoughtful and reflective, a real testament to the creative possibilities that emerge when you push the boundaries of artistic practice and engage directly with the materials themselves. In the end, Lepidoptera is far more than just an animation. It's a deeply personal and unique artistic exploration, a fusion of past and present, the natural and the human.
In the world of contemporary art, few artists blend the playful with the profound, quite like Joana Vasconcelos. Her Tetris series is a vibrant example of this, a collision of art and soft, masculine and feminine, modernity and tradition.
Inspired by the iconic electronic game, the Tetris series features parallel piped volumes, resembling the game's falling blocks. These structures are carved in a variety of styles, often hand-painted in traditional Portuguese styles. However, Vasconcelos doesn't stop at the rigid geometry of the game. She introduces a contrasting element, soft, organic forms made from crochet and various fabrics. The contrast of materials is key to understanding the Tetris series. The art angular ceramic tiles, often with the traditional patterns, are enveloped by soft, textual tubes and protuberances. The colors of the tiles are mirrored in the textual elements, creating a visual harmony despite the contrasting textures. This interaction between rigidity and softness, the industrial and the handmade, is a recurring theme in Vasconcelos' work. Vasconcelos uses this contrast to explore ideas of gender and identity. The feminine, represented by the soft flowing textiles, invades and envelops the masculine territory of the odd geometric blocks. This creates harmonious tension, challenging traditional gender expectations and suggesting a fluidity of identity. A striking example of this series is Tetris 17th century. This piece exemplifies Vasconcelos' use of traditional Portuguese tiles, azulejos. The tiles provide a historical context, while the crocheted elements offer contemporary counterpoint. The work seems to suggest hidden narratives, with the soft textiles revealing themselves from within the rigid structure. Joana Vasconcelos' Tetris series is a powerful and visually engaging exploration of contrasts. Through a unique combination of materials and forms, she invites us to reconsider our perception of gender, tradition, and the interplay between the art and the soft in our world.
Inca Baré is a self-described post-colonial hybrid. He uses his art to explore complex issues of race, class, and the legacy of colonialism.
His Decolonized Structure series, and specifically the piece Decolonized Structures Queen Victoria 2022, challenges our understanding of public monuments and the power structures they represent. When I first encountered this piece, it really made me pause and think. It's not just a sculpture, it feels like a statement, a question posed in 3 dimensions. In this work, what immediately strikes you is the form itself. Joana Baré recreates a public statue of Queen Victoria, a figure synonymous with the British Empire. However, it strips the statue of its traditional bronze or marble, replacing with vibrant, full of life Dutch wax fabric. This fabric, though often associated with African identity, has a complex history. Inspired by Indonesian batik, it was mass-produced by the Dutch and traded in West Africa, becoming a symbol of African identity through the colonial route. By covering the statue with this fabric, Joana Baré adds complexity to the narrative. The familiar image of Queen Victoria is obscured, forcing us to confront the colonial past that our statue stands for without question. The statue becomes harder to interpret in its traditional form, demanding that the viewer confront the complex history of colonialism before seeing as a symbol of power. The Colonized Structure series encourage us to question the significance and presence of these monuments in today's public spaces. Are these statues celebrations of historical figures, or are they reminders of a problematic past? By decolonizing these structures, Joana Baré highlights the political issues that led to their creation and promotes a critical discussion about Britain's relationship with its imperial past. His use of Dutch wax fabric is a recurring motif in his work. His art often reclaims and reinterprets Western art history through this lens, encouraging us to reconsider our understanding of cultural and national definitions. In Iberes, Queen Victoria is more than just a statue covered in fabric. It's a powerful statement about history, memory, and the ongoing need to decolonize our understanding of the world around us. It challenges us to look beyond the surface and to confront the complex and often uncomfortable truths of our shared past.
The next piece I will delve is the emotional and thought-provoking work of Du Hsu, specifically his piece Home Within Home.
Home Within Home is a life-size fabric replica of the artist's childhood home in Seoul, Korea, placed inside a replica of his late and Western-style apartment in New York. Both structures are meticulously crafted from translucent, brightly colored nylon fabric stretched over a lightweight frame. This transparent quality is essential. It gives the work a ghostly feel, a sense of memory that seems real yet fragile and temporary. The choice of this delicate fabric immediately evokes a feeling of impermanence and vulnerability, contrasting with the solid, concrete reality of buildings. Seeing it on screen, you can see through the walls, through the spaces. This transparency blurs the lines between the two homes, inviting us to consider how our past and present living space coexist within us. Look closely at the detail. It doesn't just create a general shape. It includes things like door frames, windows, and even the detail of traditional Korean roofing. It is as if trying to capture not just the physical space, but the very essence of those places, the memories held within their walls. This idea of placing one home within the other is incredibly powerful visual metaphor. It shows the complex relationship between where we came from and who we are today. For someone like Sue, who's lived in different countries and moved around, it speaks to this idea that our past homes aren't just left behind. They add depth to our identity, shaping who we are and how we experience the present. Additionally, his use of portable fabric structures, unlike brick or mortar, it's like carrying the fundamental feeling of a place with you, even when the physical building is far behind. It speaks to the feeling of being in between cultures, between memories, between different stages of life. And this resonates deeply with me, as I've experienced migrations, cultural changes, and the experience of moving while holding on to memories of my previous homes. In this next part, I will focus on my own artistic responses by turning critical analysis into something more hands-on. I will explore how their concepts, materials, and visual languages connect with my own perspective. Roots of My Heart is a very direct and personal response to the theme that I've just discussed. Here you see three distinct art forms, all intertwined representing my three origins: Portugal, Cape Verde, and East Timor. This piece took me 3 days to create. I used air-dry clay over a foil base for structure, shaping it with sculpting tools, and then the details were then painted using acrylic paints and tiny brushes. This first art, Portugal, I've incorporated its iconic blue and white azulejos patterns. Those beautiful ceramic tiles are such a fundamental part of Portuguese architecture and artistry. Then moving to this next art, we see the distinct hues of blue, and it represents Cape Verde. Here, I've drawn inspiration from the traditional pano de terra patterns. These textiles are incredibly significant in Cape Verdean culture. I use shades of blue here to signify the vast ocean that connects and separates these islands, and it's a color deeply embedded in their national identity. Finally, the third art, vibrating red, represents East Timor. The painted patterns here are inspired by the beautiful Thai textiles. These are hand-woven fabrics that carry immense cultural and spiritual importance in East Timor. I chose to paint in red because, for me, it isn't just a color. It serves as a powerful symbol of resilience, history, and the spirit of a nation that has faced so much in the past. To create this well-made art sculpture, I went through a lot of experiments and made numerous mistakes with different types of clay and techniques. These initial explorations, which included me making clay magnets, trays, incense holders, and lighter cases, really helped me build the skills and the understanding I needed to reach my goal. The sculpture is a physical representation of how personal identity can be complex. It's like a beautiful tapestry made from different threads, each with its own story, its own color, and its own unique pattern. It made me realize that recognizing and celebrating these different backgrounds is not just about looking back, but about understanding who I am, right here and right now. For my animation, I wanted to delve again into my heritage. My goal was to create a visual journey that captures the essence of these places and what makes each country unique. From the vibrant culture and diverse food to the people, places, and meaningful objects that represents each country. This work is a direct response to Edgar's Lepidoptera animation, and for my own animation, I aim to take a similar layered and detail-focused approach to bring this vision to life. I chose to work with cyanotype. I decided to use this medium because the color blue holds meaningful symbolism across all three countries. For example, the ocean that connects them, traditional crafts, and even their flags and landscapes. Because of this, it felt like the ideal visual language for this animation. The process itself was long and slow, involving printing 27 sheets, totaling 662 frames. To add further depth and texture, I collaged, drew, and painted directly on top of the print. This mixed media approach allowed me to add specific subtle details, vibrant colors, and different textures that couldn't be achieved with cyanotype alone. This hands-on aspect becomes part of the concept, as if each frame was developing like a memory, layer by layer, shaped by time and intention, like our identity forms through overlaying experiences and heritage. I feel this approach has helped me to create an animation that is both visually engaging and deeply personal, allowing me to reflect on my cultural background. And exploring these themes and processes has been a fascinating journey of artistic and personal discovery. This animation began during a trip back home to Lisbon, where I was inspired by the various azulejos covering the city's buildings. I photographed many of them, with the idea of turning their patterns into looping animation. Then I started thinking, how could I take this further? So I decided to explore with risograph printing, because I like its bold colors, the unexpected overlaps, and the unique textures that it creates, which add the dynamism and energy to the animation. Beyond just cyanotype and risograph, I've explored different materials and techniques. Each medium gave me a different way to interpret and express these patterns, all centered on the idea of bringing cultural patterns to life through animations.